You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
What is up, punters and dribblers? Welcome back to another episode of All Talk with the Hello Sport Podcast. Joining us this week is a sensation of the rugby league social media game. He's also got some of the best rugby league podcasts you're ever going to listen to. His name is the Rugby League Guru. Now, his story starts from humble beginnings, like they all do, Edward.
He's a humble man who has a great passion for the greatest game of all, rugby league football.
Yeah.
And one of the great stories as well, Tom, I've got to say.
Well, you can just, his success is down to many things. Hard work being one of them. Obviously a great mind for rugby league, but hard work, and he grinds. Guru is a grinder of note, as you will hear.
He's a nut trucker, Tom.
He's a nut trucker of some note. You can listen to him every week on his Rugby League Guru podcast. He does a Supercoach podcast with Timmy Williams of SC Playbook fame called Beers and Break Evens. He's also on the Bloke in a Bar Monday podcast where they review the round that was of rugby league. You can see him everywhere. He's on Instagram as Rugby League Guru. And now you can listen to him on All Talk, the Hello Sport Podcast. Here he is. First off, obviously this is recorded, well, this will be dropping next week, so Origin teams will be named for Game 2. But I found your review of Game 1 to be the most succinct, comprehensive, measured, honest response from anyone across the board. Like if you've got, after me and Eddie, obviously ours was the most measured, and that was not emotional or anything. But if you were to use us, or like if you were to use the everyday punter and the dribbler who's like, fuck Tedesco, fuck Cleary, fuck New South Wales, fuck Freddie. A lot of beeps there, sorry, SEN. And then you were to go the former player out where it's like, no, he's a good player, always back a champion, all that sort of like never criticise players sort of stuff. You sat like in the exact sweet spot where I was listening to it and being like, yes, this is exactly the right take. I just basically wanted to tell you that. I didn't even have a question off the back. I just thought it was fantastic.
That's just you're opening with a statement.
Yeah.
Do you want to respond to this?
Do you want to respond to that statement?
Rattled me early, got me on the ropes. No, I think that sweet spot is where I like to sit. I like to sit in that sweet spot. And for the whole NRL season, as you both know, I don't have a team, so I can sort of Origin. It's equally my favourite and the worst part of the year for me because we suck, obviously. It kills me. It's the one time where I get genuinely emotional, like about footy. It breaks me. My missus said to me last week, she's like, thank God you don't go for a team. You couldn't handle it. You could not handle it. Yeah,
like if you were a Dragons fan, life would be so fun.
It'd ruin me. It would ruin me without a doubt. Yeah. And that game one, that was heartbreaking.
It was so frustrating.
Because you could have written a Queensland script for it.
Yeah. That's the problem.
It was just that's what killed me.
And I don't remember if you had said this as well in your sort of post-Origin, but like, it's very hard to hate Queensland when I'm like super jealous of their players. Like, I love Cameron Munster.
How can you not respect what they do?
Like, it's very difficult when you're like, fuck Queensland, but you're also like, Jesus Christ, Cameron Munster is so cool and so good. And you're like, Reece Walsh just rolls into town, kills it. Lippy as all hell. And I found myself not even being that offended when he was being lippy to everyone because I'm like, he's so good.
Yeah. And he fully backs himself, and that's always been Reece Walsh. And like when he was at the Warriors and he stepped in and Roger was gone and he had to be the guy, he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
How can you not respect that?
Yeah.
Like you might not like him, but how can you not respect it? I think Jerome Luai is exactly the same. Like I saw the reviews from people. He got 4.5 out of 10 for that game last week.
Yeah.
I just sat there and went, did you watch the game? Like, how did you possibly come to that conclusion?
He was clearly our best half.
Without a doubt, he was our best half. No doubt about that whatsoever.
Yeah.
He gave a nice ball to Liam Martin as well. And I think with those staff writing reviews, they're always a little bit like, what are you talking about? Sometimes you read them, you go, this is absolutely ridiculous.
But that was the one that broke me, Jerome Luai. They had a staff ranking, and they had a listeners ranking or read, and it was the staff one was 7.5.
Okay,
the listener or reader was 4.5, which I just thought
that was
like you made that 4.5 before the game started.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing he could have done if we lost.
Bias. Yeah. And Luai, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with him where it's like he can be this really like he can sort of come across as a bit sort of arrogant. But then I'm also, I really respect the way he will just come out and talk. Like with the Reece Walsh thing, he comes out and he talks shit. Or even when he was on Fletcher and Hindy and they asked him about the best man speech, and you saw the way he like cringed to himself and he's laughing about it. And you're like, that's a guy who's self-aware enough as well, even though he presents like a bit of he presents a certain way, but he is also... He's still clearly...
It's polarising.
Yeah, but he is still clearly like there's that genuine person in there as well. You just don't necessarily see it as much.
100%. And I'm in a very unique position where, for example, when Jerome Luai plays the Panthers, plays Manly, I'm sure that week you hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never have that week.
No.
He plays for New South Wales. I never have that. Even when he's playing for Samoa against Australia, I'm going, this is an unreal story.
Yeah.
Like, I just never have that spot where I hate Jerome Luai. But I think when you look at players, you need to think if they were on your team, like if Jerome Luai repped the Manly area like he reps Western Sydney, you'd love it.
Yeah, you'd
absolutely
love
it.
Yeah, I'd certainly.
I think the last couple of years when no one said anything and everyone was so polite to each other and they didn't want to, ruffle feathers or give the other opposition ammo, I like that he comes out and ruffles feathers.
My favourite rugby league saying, we want characters until we get them.
Yeah.
Then we don't want them.
That's a great
Then it's
point.
too much.
But is that the media though? Overreacting to someone that says something? Do the people actually want characters?
Mate,
the people do.
the people talk a lot of shit about Jerome. Like, think about it even in the P's and D's and stuff.
There's a you're allowed to talk shit about someone, but isn't that still part of it?
Yeah, that's also what you want with your
Like
characters,
if you ask the audience, would you rather him not talk shit? You can talk shit off the back of him
talking shit,
but would you prefer that not be there at all? I think they'd say we'd want it.
Yeah.
100%. And if he's a politician, how's DCE been treated the last 10 years?
It's a great point.
Exactly right. Who couldn't be further from how he is, where he comes across in the media.
Well, the way he's perceived, and like then he's actually like a very nice dude, and also a bit of a scallywag.
We've got a bit of rip and tear in him, Tom.
Yeah,
bit of rip and tear in him,
Yeah.
and that it makes sense though because they're not going to pick a skipper of the state that doesn't have a bit of scallywag in him. You know?
Listen, that's the Queensland way, it would seem. Now, you and well, us as well, right? We've all benefited from this new wave of, I guess, social media, YouTube content, just like the new content wave. How did it start for the Rugby League Guru?
I sort of think it's interesting. I think us three give each other a little nod that we're not the former rugby league players.
Yes.
But have somehow just held on and white-knuckled our way through it.
Snuck in.
Snuck in.
Yeah.
Which has been unreal. But I was a teacher for 5 or 6 years. I was a primary school teacher. And then
What did you teach? Do you just have to across the board cover everything as a primary school teacher?
Yeah, you had to be great at nothing, just half decent at everything.
Yeah.
Which was pretty easy to do. Being a primary school teacher, like every school you go into, there's 30 females, 2 blokes. So you are sort of a special thing to have. Like it's a very safe job to have. You're never going to be without work or anything like that. And I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching. Always had this mad passion for footy, as you can imagine, since I was 4 or whatever. I had one year I had a really bad principal who I just couldn't stand. And I just thought, I'm so done with this dribble. And I already started the Supercoach Guru page.
Yes.
And that had been going for a couple of years. And I actually started that. I joined, my mates went into a NFL fantasy comp. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But outside of that, I know nothing. I knew the Steelers and Tom Brady. That was it. And because I'm so competitive, I wanted to win that.
Yeah.
So I went on to Twitter. I found a guy called the Fantasy Guru. And I followed his instructions. I did not make a single choice for myself that entire season. I came like second or something, and I thought, I could do this for Supercoach. It could be something I could do here. So I started Supercoach Guru, literally just took Guru, the exact same name, started that. And my whole plan...
It is a good
It's
name.
worked out. Yeah, I'll talk about that soon because it's had its ups and downs. But good God, it's had its downs. But the Supercoach Guru, I started it, and as I spoke to you guys in the live stream, we've got our draft weekend. It's my favourite weekend of the year by far and away. It's the best. My 12 mates go down the coast, computers out, pistols apart, just getting stuck in, draft your team. It's unreal. And my whole thing with this Supercoach Guru thing was I want to convince some of the guys in my comp to ask me questions in the lead up to it, not knowing it's me. So I kept it a secret. For ages, right? So I'm slowly luring these guys in. Like I'm sharing something to the group chat every 6 weeks. So I go, oh, geez, what do you think about this take and blah, blah. Slowly I'm reeling in 4 or 5 of them, right?
That's great.
And what I'm trying to do is get them to ask me questions, especially the guys that haven't won a comp, and really get them to ask me questions and form a bit of a relationship with them, which I did with one of them. And I sort of said to him, "Oh, how have you gone in your draft comp?" And I was hoping and praying he'd go, "Yeah, I'd won a few. I've been really successful, blah, blah, blah." And then on draft day, I could expose that. That's the whole plan. It was like a 3-month plan, right? And I remember,
dastardly, mate.
Yeah, oh, mate, it was the best. I remember I was driving down to draft weekend. There was 3 of us in the car. I was in the back seat. The bloke that was in the passenger was the bloke I was trying to reel in for the last 6 weeks. I felt like an undercover cop trying to catch like a
killer
predator or something. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm messaging him, and I can see him replying to these text messages and everything.
dude.
And he's talking about this guru guy. He's going, "Yeah, no, he just I don't know how he has this much time. He just seems overly interested in my team and what I do." And I'm like, I'm sitting in the back and he's probably in his mum's basement, the loser. Like I'm just really anyway. To his credit, he didn't lie. He was like, "Oh, I've actually gone pretty bang average in my comp and everything, blah, blah, blah," which sucked. And then, I let them all know about it that weekend. We all had a laugh and everything. That was all good.
That's hilarious.
And then I had a mate. His office is just around the corner, actually. I won't say his company or whatever. He's a very humble dude and he'd kill me if I said anything. But I went to school with him and he started like an interior design sort of business. And like he's over in America now expanding his business over there. He's done incredibly well through social media and YouTube and everything. He pulled me aside and just sort of said, "You'll be doing this full time in 3 years if you want." And I just sort of went, "How? How could that
Hectic.
possibly occur though? Like, how
Did
could
it
that
plant a
possibly
seed
happen?"
though? Like, did you have
100%
thought about
it
doing it?
No way. No, it planted a seed, and because I know what he's done and the sort of bloke he is and how much confidence he had in it, it sort of planted a seed. And then I don't know, I probably got to about 20,000 followers or something. I moved to NRL Guru or Rugby League Guru because he convinced me to do that. He was like, "You got to open up your audience a little bit more." And it was also like I was giving my opinion on stuff about rugby league, and people were just like, "Stick to Supercoach, stay in your lane." I'm like, "It's a fair shout." I'm Supercoach Guru. What am I?
Supercoach is not far away from rugby league. One would argue.
Well, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
But if you're a rugby league fan and you're
Yes.
not into Supercoach,
Yeah. No,
hearing a Supercoach person tell you about NRL,
Yeah.
no bueno.
Particularly
It's just not gonna
with the sort of opinion that a lot of rugby league fans have that if you didn't play the game, you can't talk about it. It's like the number one thing they'll say. You don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
you're talking about, which is basically why we open up every episode with, "We don't know what we're talking about."
Yeah.
So, like, leave it.
But also, it's a thing that I think you have managed to do so well is to, like, you played the game, but you, like, growing up, you
well,
played,
but
right?
yeah.
But, like, you didn't play first grade, which is usually what people want you to fucking do. If you
Well,
play.
they want you to have won Origins and comps.
Yeah. But what you do actually so well and what you've been able to do is you've been able to build enough like respect within your audience through like consistency of good opinions like Ruben Cotter and all that sort of shit, which we can get to, but like
Weight
to
of
where-
runs, Tom.
Weight of runs, exactly. Weight of runs, where people, I would imagine you're getting far less now. People going, "What the fuck would you know?" than you would have maybe early on.
Oh, 100%. It was relentless early on. And I'm also like, I'm self-aware enough to understand that I didn't play first grade and I called myself the guru. I get people messaging me, go, "You're a dickhead, you think you know it all." And I'm like, I don't, but I get why you think that.
Yeah.
I get 100% why you think that. I think over time, even like you, we've had a few nights out now. You know that I'm the complete opposite to telling people how everything is, and then it's. And I think people, you're right. It's just been reps over time that people have eventually realised that, like, he's not full. Like, I'm the king dribbler.
Yeah.
I am the absolute king dribbler.
Yeah, you're a massive
I started a
rugby league
business out of
dribbler.
trying to trick my mates into Supercoach teams
Yeah.
and embarrass them, and that's my career now.
You just love the game.
I just love it. I
how-
genuinely just love it.
How long after your mate sort of put that in your mind did you then start to like think about genuinely having a crack at it, or what was the result of that conversation?
He sort of planted the seed, and it was weird. I left teaching. I left full-time teaching. And
When did you leave teaching? How long ago?
I left teaching at the end of 2019. Okay. So I remember I left teaching, and I was just going to do like casual teaching, which pays reasonably well. I could work 2 or 3 days, and as a male, I was going to get work. I'd be turning jobs away every day. So I went to casual teaching, and the end of 2019, we went away on like a family cruise. It was so funny. I remember getting on the cruise, and as we were standing in the line to get on the boat, I remember someone mentioned this COVID thing. It's getting pretty big over in China, and we were like, yeah, but whatever. And then by the time we got back from the cruise, it was helter-skelter. It was on.
And not on the cruise. Cruises was where it was kicking
Well,
off.
I remember on the cruise, there was panic stations because there was like diarrhea or something going around, as per cruises.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was so wild that like that was a little insight to us into what the world was about
to
be.
happen, yeah.
Like you couldn't walk 5 steps without getting the hand lotion, and like it was a good little insight into what we were about to walk into. But then of course COVID happens. I've left, a stable job, and because it's casual teaching, I've heard your story a number of times and thought this is so relatable for me. And then I'm like, so is casual teaching going to exist? Are people going to be able to walk in off the streets to random schools and cover, which it didn't for ages. So really fisted me. I was just like, you're joking. Yeah. What are the chances of this? And it's funny, like Timmy Williams, obviously you guys know, like he did the same thing. We both quit our full-time job at around the same time. And then I think his favourite line is the game stopped for the first time since World War II.
Yeah.
He said that a couple of times. Yeah. It's a cracker. I wish I
great
came
line.
It's a powerful line.
It's a powerful line.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it really is, but I'm going to go full-time into the rugby league. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Chaos. So... yeah, and you know what, that 12 months, I think because I got put in that position, it sort of put me in I didn't have a safety blanket.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to fall back on, so I just had to go all in on it. And I went pretty hard at it that year. By the end of the year, I was starting to get casual days again. Then the next year, same thing happened with COVID and everything. I'm still sort of trucking along. And then they sort of said, the school I was at most days, they said, do you want to come back and work 4 days, like permanent sort of thing? And I sort of went, yeah, maybe it might just be the safe thing to do. And I said to my girlfriend, I said, I'll go back to these 4 days, but I was doing sports teaching, so I arrive at 9, I leave at 3, so I don't do anything after that.
11.
I said to her, for a year, I'm going to do that, but then the 3 till 9 p.m, it's just going to be Guru after that. I'm just going to have a real crack at it for a year. And it was
9 till 3.
So
from
9 till 3 teaching,
and then 3 till 9.
I just did Guru.
From 3 till 9
hard
on Guru.
at it. Yeah. So it was... yeah, it was relentless. It was ridiculous. And that's obviously during the week. And then, you get to the weekends and like I haven't missed a game in 4 years.
Dude, there was...
We were talking about that.
On a podcast the other day, Life, Money, Love or something a while back.
Yeah.
And there was a line you said, and I don't know if it was like about a pre-season where there's heaps of games on. There was like the New South Wales Cup and everything. But you're sitting there, you almost look shell-shocked. You're like, mate, I've watched 11 games of rugby league in 3 days. And I was like, I need to clip that up. That's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
I remember at the start of this pre-season, jumping ahead a little bit, Beck goes, footy starts next week. Can we go out for dinner or something? I went, yeah, the Capras are playing the Dolphins in the Kai, and Tafara is making his debut. So.
Probably not.
No. Short answer's no.
Does that frustrate your now wife?
She's the best.
She's great about it.
Yeah,
understands.
I'm very, very lucky in that regard. I couldn't, like, years ago when I was thinking about going, full on with Guru, I went to her and I literally, like, pretty much said, I'm going to quit my heap stable job and we're saving up for wedding, house, family.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and be a professional at something I've never done, nor could do, even if I wanted to. And she just went, yep, go for it.
Love that.
Oh, it's great.
It's
great. Like it's empowering having that sort of support.
Yeah, and it was funny. Like I had my wedding a few weeks ago. My best man said, he came to me with the idea first, and my mate said, go for it. And in the back of his head, he's like, Beck will never let this go. I can be heaps supportive, and his missus will go, you're an idiot. Go back to work.
Yeah.
And then there was the same reaction when I went to Beck, and she said, yep, go for it. It was almost in my mind. I went, oh shit.
Yeah.
I thought she'd say no. God damn it.
Now I've got to do it.
Yeah, but it's been unbelievable. And then I was back teaching. I was doing those 4 days of sport. And then there was
how many times you fucking just whip out an old Origin game, just put it on for the kids, you know what I mean? It's like,
if I could, I would. If I could.
Wheel out the TV on the trolley.
Yeah, the TV on the trolley. Now today
are we watching game 2, 2005 again? Yeah, we are. Saddle up.
That was the thing, like with the year 5 and year 6 boys, they're starting to get interested in footy and everything. And they're starting to see me on social media.
Oh,
and it's a big no-no. Like you can't be.
Oh, really?
Well, because like I'm sitting on bloke in a bar drinking beer, swearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a. So like the principal sort of said to me at one point. Some of the kids asked. It was funny. Like kids that are 11 and 12, they are the most gullible humans on the world. This literally happened. We're going to an excursion. I'm sitting on the bus, so they're on their phones. And I hear like something going on through the bus. And it's always in the back of my mind, this is the moment where they're all going to find out.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be chaos as soon as that happens. Anyway, this kid comes up to me and he goes, I think I just saw you on my phone. And there was other teachers around me who, some of them knew about it, some of them, especially the older ones,
they wouldn't have had a clue.
So I just always I'd never brought it up, never said a thing. He comes up, he goes, I just saw you on your phone. And like when you hear, like when an older 50-year-old teacher hears, I just saw you on my phone, it's one of the great red flags.
Yeah. Oh no, Guru's doing sex work.
Yeah, this is not sweet. And I literally, he showed me the thing, and it was me, obviously, a clip. He goes, this you? And I said, nah, that's my twin brother. And I ran with that for 3 months until I left that school.
Oh shit!
It's my twin brother Matthew, and they brought it.
Thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd signed a contract to work there the year after. And I was like, how the hell am I going to keep this up? How am I going to keep up that I've got a twin brother who goes on this show who looks exactly the same? Identical. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, I got to that Christmas break and then the opportunity with Kempy came up and I just sort of thought, if I'm a panel member on Bloke in a Bar and I can't do this full time, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I rang my principal and I just said, who was lovely, by the way, I just said, I can't come back. And she, to her credit, she sort of said, I thought this might happen at some point this year. So it's probably best it happens now before it all starts.
So they had some idea.
I think she did. Yeah. So ever since then, that was the start of last year. I've been full-time doing it, so.
Hectic. Punters and dribblers, as always, we are brought to you by the best betting platform on planet Earth, and that is Ned's, the home of the punter and the dribbler. Also the home of one of the great private groups all the time, the About Even Punting group. That's where we share all of our winners, like my Thursday night Tigers-Titans bet of $22 something fame. Shout out to AJ Brimson, Jaden Campbell, and Jareem Buller. It was a Jareem come true to get that one. We do it all at Ned's, and we thank Ned's very much for the support.
Yes, we do. Ned's are the best in the business. It's as simple as that. If you want to have a life-changing betting experience, go
responsibly.
to Ned's. Go to Ned's. Go to Ned's. Go to Ned's.
If you want to join the private group, the secret passcode is Dribbler. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Do you get over watching 8 games of rugby league every week? Or do you just absolutely love it?
No, there's times where it's not as easy as it sounds.
Because there's some poo slingers, and you've got to sit
Without
there
a doubt.
and be like
I've got to tell you
engaged.
which edge back row I played the most minutes. And
Yeah.
it's a lot. And there are those moments where it's tough, but I'm sure you boys do the exact same thing. Like, I just think back to my old job.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Where I would spend Sunday afternoon marking 200 books. And I just go, give me more of Jaden Sewer's stats. I'll take it in.
Yeah.
When you put it that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll watch
Would you rather watch rugby league footy? It might be a poo slinger at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on
you're
Sunday. They
absolutely
always
right.
are. Or do you want to go mark books?
You're absolutely right. And I think, we've said it before, I'm fucking eternally grateful to do what we get to do. And you're right. If you have to watch a bit of rugby league, who gives a shit? Well, it's not the worst thing in the world. Can you give us an idea about your game process? So like we were saying before, and a dribbler alerted us to it on after State of Origin. So we watched, the game was on, everyone watched it. If you're from New South Wales, you felt physically ill. You then rewatch it straight away again, and then you release a podcast at like midnight that night. Like there's firstly a very like respectable grind to that, where most people. We also tried to grind. We tried to record a podcast at midnight as well. I fell asleep.
Well, some of us,
by the way.
Yeah. Some of us are made of the right stuff.
I fell asleep mid-podcast. It was tough. I'd spent so much time supporting my state and so much energy supporting my state. Maybe you should have spent a little more energy supporting your state. Maybe we'd get over the line.
I think
I fell asleep. That's an impressive level of grind. But, like, what's your game process and, like, your weekend process?
Well, I'll take you to that night first because that's my perfect storm. That's so I watched the game. And to give you an example, like we did the live show last year.
Yeah.
When we were out of the game.
Yeah.
And like my immediate reaction is I need to get home to watch this game because I can't watch it out there because then it's going to take me 2 hours to get home, which means then I have to watch the game after that and do all my work. Like Wednesday night after that game, I watched it again, went through my notes, did the podcast, and then I had Jim Beam, who was on as a sponsor for that night for me. Jim Beam, the drink of choice for the pre-game, of course.
Yeah.
Good.
So
I enjoyed those.
I enjoyed those, yeah.
I enjoyed those.
Yeah.
So then I had to do all those reels and make all that. So Wednesday night or Thursday morning, I think I went to bed at about 3:30 or so. Yeah, so it was a nudge, and then got up and did the show with Kempy and Dor, obviously.
Yes.
Which was great. But yeah, like that. I take what I do very seriously.
Yes.
And very seriously, because as you said before, we're not former players. No. I'm giving a serious opinion on a game that I haven't played. So for me, I can't lean back and rely on I played 150 first grade games. It's just got to be reps on the board and just making sure it all makes sense. And I'm so glad that podcast got the response that it did.
Did it get a good response?
Yeah, unreal. Yeah, it's my most listened to podcast ever.
We love that.
Yeah. So I loved it. It was unreal.
Oh, that's hectic. It was fantastic. Like, it really was good.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt, that's great. It got that response.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. The bit I liked about it most was that you didn't sit on the fence. You just, which I think can be an inclination, particularly if you're in front of the mic every week, and obviously the players know about you and the coaches know of you, and maybe there's like an apprehension to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
But I thought you nailed it.
Yeah, and I think like
in that respect.
Like obviously what you guys do is a little bit different because you're in the humour game, whereas for me, like, it's hard to find that balance of not sitting on the fence, not offending players, being honest, sort of thing. And I think I've sort of found a bit of a sweet spot with it at the moment, which I'm happy with. And like when I'll be the first to admit, when I first started, and I had players messaging me and all that sort of stuff, like unreal, so exciting for me as a footy nerd, which is what I am at the end of the day. Yeah. But then, like, as the years go on, like, not that means less to you, but it is sort of just starting to be more so that
commonplace. It's not as
it's my business now.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm starting to find that balance now.
And there's almost something as well when it comes to players, like, they're the people that before you did it or when you started doing it, you look up to them a little bit, or it's like they're fucking famous, or I don't know, but then like, and maybe upsetting them feels more like viscerally impactful. But then when you like think about it being like, let's say how many players in the NRL, let's just say 500 for a number, but it's like your audience is actually the people that they're the real people you don't want to, you don't want to upset if you're,
and that's the key to it.
And that's you want to be doing right by the audience. So speaking your mind or telling the truth or being honest and sincere when you're like reviewing something is, if it's at the detriment of like someone's feeling, like a player's feelings, but like it's way more valuable.
And for me, like whenever I am negative or anything, it's only about performance. It's not about that player.
Yes.
And I think I've learnt to deliver that better. And look, and I also think that these guys, like, they're professional athletes. They're all headstrong and tough as nails to get to where they are, which I know is something I'm not headstrong enough to have ever done. Like, and I think that sometimes we think the players get more upset than what they do. The vast majority I talk to are like, fair play. There's some that aren't, and I'm blocked by most of those, which is fine. That's,
it's funny though, because but the reality is that not the only reason, but a massive part of the economy of rugby league or sport professionally anyway is that you've got dribblers like us or media in general or the fans who like have their opinion. You want that to be thriving. Obviously, the way the opinion's delivered matters. Like, if you're sending like abusive DMs to players and stuff, that's not a way to behave.
But I also understand that when you're 23 years old and all that's happened to you for the last 10 years, everyone told you how good you are, that can be hard to take in.
Yes. Yes, definitely. You're not necessarily taught to receive criticism.
Yeah.
Which,
like, imagine having the same conversations you're having now with yourself at 23.
Look, and
that's one way that
at 23. I was doing absolutely. I'd be like, no, you're probably spot on. I'm not doing fucking anything.
Well, we're at uni. You know what I mean? Were we? I don't even know.
Can you give us a name of someone who's blocked you, a player, and we'll beep it out just because I want to know?
Yeah, he'll definitely want to bleep it out.
Block it, beep it.
And I think that would be to do with
potentially.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? That certain player, I get it.
I also think we probably need to beep some of this other shit because it's still going to give it
It's very
away.
incriminating, yes. But to me, I don't get upset by that. I get it. He's a professional athlete. He's worked his entire career to get to where he is. He's a champion of the game. And me, who's never played the game, criticising something he does, I get it.
Yeah, sometimes though I'm like, why block if you just can unfollow? Like I get blocking someone, like if someone's on your page talking shit and like spamming you, then like you just block them because it's like you don't need to see it, but like you don't need to follow.
But I also think though that, you know, and for all you know, that week, that player might have just had a shocker.
Yeah.
Family, kids, anything could be happening in that player's life, and maybe my little negative comment has just tipped them over the edge.
Yeah.
Which happens to all of us.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. What sort of notes are you taking throughout a game? I'd like to look at, like, is
Have you got
there
a book
is there
you
a
write
book
them?
we can look at?
I used to have a book. I do it most
there a little
over the computer
notepad?
now because I then take it to Bloke on a Monday. I need it sort of on the computer.
Yeah,
I can't- I'm not writing them twice. So I've sort of transitioned to the computer, but I'm very old school like that. If I had it my way, it'd be all pen and paper.
Really?
And it'd be a nightmare. You wouldn't be able to read it.
No, well that'd be one
But
of the
so
great.
what, is it what, like, can you give us some sort
Well,
of
I can't
insight?
reveal too much.
Okay, so
Okay.
no, I like that. So there's some sort of commercial.
Because there's part of
competence.
me that knows that someone eventually down the track is going to take the exact same formula that knows more about. Like I'm waiting for the next player to go, oh, I can do this.
Oh, so there's a
formula to
method
what
to your
you're
mad.
doing.
There's a bit of a method to it, yeah.
And is that purely from a super coach perspective, or is that from a general the way that you are sort of
No, general that I
putting
do.
down the data that you're consuming?
Yes. You know what? It's not like a mathematical equation thing. A lot of what I do is eye test.
It's not like a DES model.
Put in that beautiful
not a Des
mind.
model,
Put all the equations over the screen right now, please, Tobler. Those like
There you go, a beautiful mind at work. That's unbelievable. Do you do it like little diagrams and stuff?
Not little
Like
diagrams.
little pictures?
No. It's not. You're making it out to seem so much more high tech than what.
But you're
it
not
is.
telling me what it is,
Yeah,
so I
good
need to use
guru
my
hunting.
Yeah, no,
imagination.
for sure.
Good guru hunting. Yeah.
But like, if you want to take your Reuben Cotter example before,
So there's a way you worked out.
there's certain things that I could tell you about Reuben Cotter that I've been watching for years, why I knew he'd be successful.
that
So-
you're not prepared to share.
No, and that's good. Like I love that, a bit of mystery. So for those of you that don't know, was it on Bloke where you first made that call? Bloke in a bar, obviously Denning Kemp. You basically, it was at the first start of the season. It was like you were predicting Origin players for that year who's going to debut for Queensland. You called Reuben Cotter out and one of the great. Well, at the time it was like, huh?
It was
Everyone
left field
like-
as
it was
fuck. The
left field.
Cowboys weren't
At the
doing
time, he
anything.
wasn't in the Cowboys predicted 17.
Yeah, and everyone was like, what are you talking about? And then he debuts.
Yeah.
So you can't tell us the equation necessarily, but I'd certainly like to
I
hear.
hate how you keep using the word equation.
No, just I like
it's
it. I know
nowhere
it's not
near
an
as deep
equation,
as
but
that, yeah.
trust me, we will refer to it as an equation.
It sort of is an equation in the sense of like A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like there's certain things
To
that
some
you're
extent,
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's
to some
also
extent.
just funnier to talk about it as an equation.
Yes.
Well, I mean, in a sense,
If
it
I
is.
was
It's all
you, I'd
math
call
at
it
the
an
end of the day.
equation. Yes,
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all math at the
Well,
end.
it's
of the
rugby
day.
league math.
It is rugby league math.
Yeah,
100%.
he's like the Stephen Hawking of rugby league math.
Less
Not in
the
the
wheelchair.
chair, less the chair, and the,
Less the chair.
less the chair.
Less the chair.
But it's also like the longer it goes, and it's funny when I started off, people would never forget the ones I got wrong.
Yeah,
But now the longer it goes, people remember the ones.
the ones you get right. Can you give us an insight into how you developed this without going into detail of it, or is it too difficult to sort of?
No, to be honest with you, I always just think I've had a reasonably good eye for it.
Right. Where's that come from? Is that like, is rugby league, has it been a big thing in your family?
Yeah,
Like, have you got
100%. Yeah,
Old man,
huge thing in my
old man,
family.
or
Yeah.
someone who's like always talking about it.
Yeah,
Or
my
maybe
old
just
man
sort
and my uncle were footy nuts.
Right.
Probably not as much as me, but unlike me, they were very good footballers.
Is it true you were born on grand final day?
You know what? I know you've made that up. I was born September 29. It's a grand final week.
Grand final way it was.
of- Dude, yeah, no, I'm changing
Actually,
that.
can
Born
one of
on
you
grand final.
do all that?
Yeah, what year?
What day was the 92 grand final?
92.
That's so funny, dude.
I reckon I was a day or so off.
If you were born on grand final day, that would be so funny.
Or September 27.
Yeah,
What are you, September?
29.
Oh my
2
God.
days.
Nah, well, dude.
Call it.
No, you definitely say born on grand final day, 1992.
Because there would have been grand final activity 2 days out.
grand final week, like
grand final week.
breakfast.
But we'll put it this way: your birthday must. Has your birthday ever been on grand final day? Or not
I'm not
since
sure if
they've
it's
gone
ever
a long
actually
weekend?
landed on my birthday. It's always been around. I'm not sure if it's landed
That
on.
is so funny.
My
I did make
birthday
that up,
too. Little fun fact, my birth date is the 29th of the 9th, 92. That's a palindrome.
Oh,
Same
nice.
forwards,
Yeah, same
backwards.
reverse.
I'm on the 29th as well. It's my favourite number. So
So we should deliver
Yeah.
at some point.
He was on the show yesterday. And we
already
were
told
like,
Guru.
I knew nothing about this. I hadn't heard. I got out of the car. I go, how are you? He goes, oh, I fucked up Darren Lockyer's retirement.
yeah, mate. I go,
It's
we go, when
weighing
did
on my
Lockyer
mind.
retire? Because we were trying to work out the most successful, again, I heard it somewhere and it may have been on you, but like the most successful Queensland halves pairing. And there was like just saying that Cherry Evans and Munster were approaching that level of sort of success.
God, that's painful.
And then, I know.
But
And
I
then,
don't think they are.
well, I don't know, Dave. I don't trust anything you say. And then he was like, we were like, oh, what about Lockyer and Thurston? They'd be number one, wouldn't they? And then he's like, well, no, they only played 3 years. Lockyer retired in 2008.
He retired in 11, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so 2008, and we were like, oh, okay, 2008, sweet. And then just got absolutely pounded by fucking dribblers, being like, what the fuck? It was 2011. Dave's like, I'm like, Dave, did you even Google it? He's like, nah. I just thought it.
I thought I remembered it.
That's not your fucking job. We're not trying to. We're not asking you to,
Yeah, we're not-
go into the recesses of your fucking bong-riddled mind.
You're a
not
guru
asking
over
you-
there, do you?
we're not asking you to think you remember something. So if we can go back to
Sorry, can I just cut in? The 1996 ARL Grand Final was on your birthday.
there you go.
Yeah, well, okay,
Manly
let's say
beating
92.
St George.
How you
I
feeling
don't know
about the
that.
high ball in a few weeks?
Good. You?
Nervous. So nervous.
Should we take our boots out there?
I assume so. It'd be stupid not to, right?
Yeah. Mate, I'm feeling all right about it. We'll see.
I'll tell you what's going to suck. I guarantee. Like, Tim's still playing footy. He'll catch the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, how many are we catching? Just one.
Mate, if I catch one, I'll be stoked. If any of us catch
Have
one,
you
I'll be
seen this
stoked.
torp machine?
Yeah, I watched it the other day. It's not as high as I thought it was going to be, but I'll be shocked if they don't jack it up for us. I think we're getting like Burton areas. I'd put up Burton areas to us if I had control of said machine.
Oh, fucking oath you. I'd be
why wouldn't
maxing
you?
that thing out.
Yes, yeah.
I'd want
So-
steam coming out of it.
especially you guys being Manly guys coming in.
Yeah, that's right. They might go easy on you two and then fucking jam
I'm going to
us.
ask them to very politely. Yes, I'm hoping so.
Yeah. No, I reckon. Listen, I don't know. I probably won't catch any, especially if they're Burton areas
It'll be tough.
and they're dipping late. No
yes,
way.
they'll be dipping all over the place.
Dude, you got the lights and the crowd.
Yeah, that's I was about.
fucking
The lights is
everything.
going to
Yeah.
be rattling too, because they will
a great
position us in
point.
a spot where the lights.
It's a
fuck
great
us
point.
completely. Yeah,
I'm nervous about it now.
yeah, I think we should be. Yeah. I'm going to have many beers before I do it though.
Let's go out there and
So,
fucking
so you've got an
bulls.
excuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play it up for the crowd. It'll be funny.
Play it up.
be
It'd
unreal.
be impressive if I get up for them.
Try jump. Like a Billy
Did a
Slater
Falau about
catch.
me.
Yeah, stick the legs out.
I think if we get a hand to it, I'll be stoked.
Oh, you reckon that's going to be that hard?
How long has it been since you've been under a spiral? Those things move, man. They are. They're cruising. You're going to be in jeans.
Probably 15 years. Maybe longer.
It's going to be tough. It's
Yeah, great.
going to be great fun, but
Yeah.
it's going to be hilarious.
Fucking
but,
oath.
just talking about the high ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're in some curry. I was saying to him it sucks because Tim Williams still plays footy.
Does he?
Yeah, he'll swallow it.
Well, I'm confident I will as well.
I'm so confident you won't.
I'm
so
ready. I'm
confident
ready to
you
go.
won't.
Oh, he's basically talked me out of our confidence. He's like, when was the last time you caught a fucking spiral? Big torp.
That thing's going to be moving. You
At a
got the
maxed
lights.
machine, under
Yeah.
lights, crowd.
Look, I saw a video. It didn't look like it was going that high.
Now,
I
he
agree.
reckons it's got more grunt
They'll
in
give it some juice. You two walking in your Manly 13 plus.
There'll be more. They'll put grunt.
We're going to put that thing
Okay,
into the
okay.
stratosphere for you.
Well,
two.
listen, I still think I'm going to catch it. I don't have any confidence in Eddie.
He's got zero confidence in me.
I've got zero confidence in Eddie, but and my confidence in me is definitely misplaced. It's like hubris to the nth degree, but I still, like I
think I'll outcatch you.
I think I played, well, there's dedefinitely no chance of
I
that.
think so. Well, you
Hand-eye's fucked,
don't move well.
but I can catch better than you can. Like, you can't catch.
but you know
no,
what? They're not
what do
going to kick it to us.
The ultimate,
With the spiral,
Yeah.
there's...
You're going to be moving around.
the ultimate hand-eye coordination is golf, and he has never beat me. In his life.
So
That's fine. That's
doesn't
fine.
have it.
So the ultimate game of hand-eye, he's never beat me. Anyway,
Listen.
that's okay.
Listen.
That's fine.
Listen. Eddie's a fitness guy. Eddie's like, I can run, I can pull a rowing machine. You give him we played
golf club?
cricket. He got
Give him a golf
bowled. He
club.
got bowled 3 balls in a row, and we had a cricket day. It was like country boys, city boys, 3 balls in a row. like 3 balls in a row, and I'm like, this is because you just lose runs when you get out. It's made for people like Eddie who aren't good at it. So it's like you don't have to go and sit down after your first ball face.
Guess how many Tom got out in a row?
2.
Incorrect.
I kept track of your I used to play last man stands in the same.
It's good fun, isn't it?
I sucked at
Eddie
it,
trying
but
to
it was good
fucking. I'm averaging 50 on last man stands.
I'm just saying, on that day, you didn't go well.
My batting average was about 14 or 15. I'm woeful. I could bowl, but I can't bat to save myself. And
No.
I remember we showed up one day and the other team only had 5 players, so we got to draw out of a hat who got to bat first.
There you go.
Did you bowl a few leggies?
Offies. Yeah, great straight breaker.
Yeah.
You've never seen him break straighter.
No.
Oh, we love that. Just the straight ball, the Zampa. If we can go back to your eye for rugby league talent, your methods, methods of the
madness.
If
The equation.
if the Manly Seagulls was to approach you, this is hypothetical, and say, we want you to start scouting for us, is that something you'd ever be interested in? Do you have the time? Do you have the energy? Do you have
Honestly,
The inclination.
I would never even consider it.
Really?
Why would I?
because you've got the eye.
Yeah, but man, I have so much fun doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have so much fun doing what I'm doing. It's not like
What's the thing that you get the most out of in terms of what you do? Like, is it the picking a Reuben Cotter sort of a thing like that coming off? Is it that? Is it a podcast like the Origin podcast pumping its dick off? What is it? Do you reckon?
yeah, I like obviously when a call comes off, or especially when someone comes off that like there's been a few like Reuben Cotter, Harry Grant. I was very vocal about.
Oh, really?
Very early.
When he was at the Tigers before that?
No, when he was playing in Queensland.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like
the way
early.
he said that there's a lot of rugby league folk.
Yeah.
Come on, champ.
Big dick sort of stuff there.
And that's the one that I wish it had happened. I wish Harry Grant had come along 2 years because that was bigger than the Reuben Cotter one.
Oh, that's a
without
bigger
a
call
doubt.
than...
When he was playing in Queensland, I posted a story saying that he's a top 10 hooker in rugby league right now. He didn't play first grade for 2 more years. I got hammered, and then he played first grade. He played Origin 6 weeks later.
Top 10 rugby league hooker right now.
Yeah. And I stand by it then. And people are sending me all these names and everything. I'm going, sweet, go watch him. They're not as good as him. He's just behind Cameron Smith.
What?
I've said it for ages.
Where did you see him play to form this opinion?
Oh, like just on, you
South
can
Wales
watch on
Cup,
like
whatever.
Queensland Rugby
Queensland,
League
like
and-
your Queensland Cup, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm always keeping an eye on all those sorts of competitions. It's been really good the last 2 years. The Harold Matts and the SG Ball, my younger brother's been playing in those comps. So I've been able
I think
to
we
go
met
and
your
watch-
brother once at one of
Yeah, I think he comes and finds you. He'll be listening to this intently. So shout out to Josh.
Shout out to John.
How many games outside the NRL do you watch a week? If we've got SG Ball, Harold Matts.
I'll try and always watch my brother. And if there's, someone that I'm keeping an eye on or something, I'll go and have a look at their game or whatever.
Have you got a list of like kids that could be anything?
Yeah.
A black book.
Yeah, there's a black book. There's a black
That's
book, without
so
a doubt.
good, dude.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Anyone you want to drop on the podcast now?
Yeah, do you want to make it
a kid that could be anything?
Or you don't have to, but it would be nice to, look back.
I love the look of your young 5'8" Finu. I think he could
Yeah?
be a game changer. Yeah.
Okay. Latu Fine. Listen, I don't know if that's a huge call or not because I knew of Latu Fine now.
Yeah, but
So
that's
I
how
need-
good he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you and I know of him because
Because we're obviously...
he plays for Manly.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, are you making what sort of predictions?
yeah, like what are we saying here?
Origin prediction?
How old is he now?
He's 19, Latu.
So he
he's
could be
still-
playing...
Origin?
He could already be playing fucking...
We going
first
there?
grade.
Oh, I think he's got the ability to play Origin. It's just, he's just
Whether
got to
it's
get it all right.
Yeah, right. Well, Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the...
That's the...
My read on it is the only thing that could be standing in Latu's way is Latu.
So,
Okay.
obviously last year you had Reuben Cotter. This year, Jermaine Hopgood's your guy, your man. Are you going to release a new love every year? Is that sort of the...
Yeah, I sort of have one.
model-
every
the
year
love
that I go,
guru.
Yeah. I've got one that I've got my eye on at the moment at Cronulla.
Is he currently playing or...
No, he's in reserve grade still. I think he's played one game of first grade. But because Cronulla's so... I'm hesitant to go too heavy.
Yeah, right.
Because Cronulla's so stacked, it's hard to get into that side.
Yeah, okay.
There's a few floating around. There's always a few floating
What about Manly? Have we got any, besides Fanu, is there anyone coming through?
Nah, he's the main one for me at the moment. But you got to remember, you have brought through a lot of young guys over the last, whether it be Schuster, Burbo, like these sort of guys. But Latu's definitely the one. And when you get a kid like him coming through your juniors, it's actually hard to tell how good the others are.
Because he's dominating.
So good.
So is he really dominating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he's proper.
Sometimes you worry when they're really dominant, though, don't you? Because it's like it's that.
But he's and this is what I tell you. It's the equation, blah blah. It's just the eye test. He's just got something about him, Latu.
So he fits into your.
100% he does. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's great to know.
That's great to know.
Particularly with
the beautiful mind of Guru.
Well, that's right, and DCE's getting older. So
yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. Listen, DCE knows that his days are numbered. That's not disrespectful to say.
Well, listen. As it currently stands, we don't have a cure for aging, Tom.
No,
it's a disease, and until we find that, DCE is going to have to make way at some point.
If we find it, different story.
Different story. Now we can talk about him playing for us forever, but until that point.
But that's going to be your interesting balance because I don't think Latu and Schuster are going to work together.
Okay, now you're fucking upset.
That's my roadblock that I can see for you.
Okay,
So why is that? Because
but you're in a
similar?
good enough position to be able to go to the market and say, "Who's a halfback that wants to play with Tommy Turbo?"
Yes, true.
So you're in a good spot, I think.
Okay.
How do you go about? Because you've now got, like you hear rugby league whispers now, don't you? You've got a few birdies chirping from trees around the league. How do you get to
birdie territory
to catching those birds? Are you caging them? Are they cage birds? Are you clipping their wings? Are
Yeah,
they allowed to fly free?
To be honest with you, it gets hard to find the right birds. I've had a few this year that I've been told that I've said pretty confidently that have just come to duck eggs.
Oh,
absolutely
really?
nothing.
Okay.
That's
and then do you go back to your bird and go, "Oi"?
Well, like I could, but I chose to say it.
True.
Like it's up to me to filter through what's good
bullshit.
and what's not. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get them wrong. And when you get them right, people go, "Okay, thanks." But when you get them wrong, people are like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
The Nico Hines thing, for example.
What was that?
You taking the piss or not?
No. Oh, I remember it, but can you, the people who don't know.
So
You're taking the piss on.
I don't need this. So, as I said to you, my Supercoach draft day is like the biggest day of the year. Nico Hines is right up there as a top 1 or 2 pick. Anyway, I got a bit of word the morning of my draft that Nico Hines had an injury, right? And it hadn't been anywhere. And I thought, okay, so I texted a few people that I thought might be in the in. I didn't get yeses, but I certainly didn't get no's. That means that there's something there, right? So I posted it. And I said, look, nothing 100% confirmed here, but I'm hearing Nico Hines has an injury. He might miss the start of the season. If you're drafting today, which it was the Saturday the week before. So it's a big draft day.
Yeah.
I'd say 70% of drafts happening that day, right? So it was hilarious. I posted it and, the Telegraph shared something saying like, news around social media. It never said Guru or anything. I was like, you
Of course.
dogs.
Of
You
course.
dogs.
Never do
Whatever.
that.
That's
They
fine.
never. No.
Can't win them all. Good to win more though. And I posted that, and straight away, all the boys in my column were like, "Are you serious? You're going to risk your entire business just to mess with our heads?" And I'm like, "Boys, you're not that important to me."
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Anyway, and there were so many people messaging me going, "You're literally just trying to throw the boys in your draft column."
Where did
That's
you
all
hear
you're
the
That's
rumor
what
from?
I heard. That's I heard the counter as well. Like Guru's
I
trying
was-
to muddy the
mate.
waters on draft day.
Yeah.
That's actually what power you
I had
have.
guys because he was pick number 2. He was the obvious pick number 2. I had equally as many pick number 2s going, "Are you serious?" as pick number 3s going, "Thank you, I might get him now."
Yeah.
How good's this? This is because the other thing was everyone knew I had pick number 1 in my comp, so it didn't matter to me.
How'd
So-
you get pick 1?
We have like challenges. This year we just did a Melbourne Cup sweeps. And
Oh, that's nice. They must be like this bastard.
Gold brick, gold run. Something, I can't remember what it was. Gold trip. That was it. It won. So, which was lovely. It was at 20-1. It was the only horse I hadn't bet on during the day, and then I found out I had it for
The sweet.
sweep. So I thought, Matt, I'll get on it as well. It was a great day. So I had Nathan Cleary. So it was like, once again, it was a perfect storm. Everyone knew I was getting Nath. Nico was the second option. I break this story that he's going to be injured. He's not going to play. Everyone calls bullshit on it. It was fan. And I was just sitting there going, this is all honest. And everyone else is tinfoil hatting it, going insane, trying to work out who I'm trying to mess with. And the best thing was the guy that had number 2 in my comm is one of my best mates, but one of the kings of head noise. So he was just rattle stations trying to work out what he does. Which made it even more so look like to my mates that I was just trying to mess with Steve.
Yeah, right.
It was the best. It would be like you doing it to him. And not
Yeah.
knowing. It was perfect.
Well, dude, I thought Eddie the other day was when we like go somewhere, like so we went to Adelaide for the Origin or when we go to Queensland or like he'll usually book the flights and I'm like, do you keep like intentionally booking me in middle seats? And he's and he was like, do you actually think I'd do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know, dude. I'm in middle seats everywhere at the moment.
But he's planted a thought in my head now. And I'm like, I can start fucking with this guy big time. Middle seats, up the back.
Yeah,
no
not
leg
even
room.
next to him. He'll just put me in a middle seat, like right down the back of the
Middle
plane.
seats are the worst.
Dude.
No leg room.
Well, you know how like the rule is like if you're in the middle seat, you get sort of like at least you get the first choice of armrest. At least that's my understanding, right? The guy I was sitting next to on the way back from Adelaide was jamming me. He was like just kept jamming my elbow out and like trying to push him back. And I'm like, initially I'm like, I'm gonna fight for this fucking position. And then before the flight took off, then he lifts his arm up and then looks at me like this, and I'm like, what's up, bro? And he's like, you're elbowing me into my side, and I'm like, no, I'm not, dude. What the hell?
How do you find these situations?
Listen,
He's very confrontational.
I didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
say
know.
no. I didn't say no. In my mind, I'm like, what the hell? I was on the native seed, so I was a little bit self-introspective. So I was like, oh, shit, sorry, dude. Like, no. But I was like, no, I fucking wasn't. But he was just so – he would not relent, and I relented. Like, I gave up. But I was thinking of it like, you know, if –
Credit to that bloke.
yeah, but I'm
Showed
also
a bit.
like, does it say something about me just being a pussy, just bending over? Because like, if this was in the wild and we'll fight, if that armrest was like the last scrap of food on the savannah, look who's dead.
Well, you'd go
Me.
hungry.
I'd die.
I'd have to eat you.
You'd have to eat me, mate.
Because I'm just chilling.
You're just chilling with the window.
On the window, yeah.
I was at the airport at 6 o'clock this morning, actually. My wife's cousin, who's like her best friend, she's going to London for 2 years or whatever. So, you know, had to get up, go to the airport, say goodbye to her and everything. We're running late, as per fucking usual. I get to the airport, and my wife actually drove there, and she went up the wrong ramp, so we couldn't get a parking spot.
Oh, yeah.
And she's almost in tears. We're late. She's not going to see her. And I'm like, look, you go inside. I'll get a parking spot. And I wanted to see her go as well. I'm like, I'm up at the crack of dawn. I want to go in there. So I come back around the ramp, and I see like a little turn off, and I just see all this vacant space. And I'm like, I'm going to park there. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to park there. I'll be 20 minutes. It'll be fine. So I turn in. Once I turn in, I see a sign that's like taxis only. And I'm like,
Fuck it.
there's no one here. What's the worst they can do? So I just park somewhere random, right? Get out of my car. There's nothing around me. I'm like, good as gold. How good's this? Run inside, sit down, have breakfast, completely forget about it. I hear over the speaker. Got the number plate DB, and I'm going, DB. Fuck. That's me. Shit. They go, you need to remove your car immediately or we will. Okay. So I walk out, and this big vacant area that had nothing in it. 500 cabs in there now.
Oh,
And
wow.
my car's like semi-blocking the entrance. And you know, this one was pissing rain, so I'm like standing looking over the airport like that scene in The Lion King. I'm looking over everything, and my car's in the distance, just cock-blocking everyone. I was like, oh, fuck. So I walk over there, and there's all these taxi drivers pointing at my car, being like, motherfucker. I'm just like, oh, yeah, this guy. Fuck. I get over there, and there's a fine on the front. And I was like, you know, like,
Would they sting you?
what do you reckon? Because like I got to say goodbye to her. I won't see her for 2 years. It was the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, yeah, you always have a number in your head where you're like, I'm okay with that. It's exorbitant, but I'm okay with that.
If I have to for this situation.
yeah,
I'll
what would
wear
be
it.
your number that you'd be like, oh, I'll wear that?
I reckon you'd be looking at for cock blocking cabbies.
Airport cock block.
What, given that parking longer than 1 hour or 2 hours is 120 at the moment, I think you're looking at 280.
Yeah, the 200 mark was the mark where I would have gone, I can wear that. That's right. It was only 126. So
that's
so I got there and went, oh, heck,
scot-free.
this is great.
That's fine.
This is
Scot-free.
unreal. Yeah, but
It's not ideal, but it's
then
like
the
if
parking
you're gonna-
assistant comes over to me, yelling and screaming, carrying on. I'm like, oh, I'm in the wrong. Fair play. And he's like, why would you do that? And I was like, sorry, mate, it was an emergency. And he's like, he just called my bluff. He goes, bullshit, it was an emergency. I've seen guys like you before. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, fuck, okay, whatever. Just give me the fine and move on with your life, please. This can't be this important to
Let's
you.
not get bogged down here, mate.
Yeah.
Did you tell him you were the guru?
Didn't mention it. Don't think you would have known either.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised, mate. I think you'd be very surprised.
Little moments like that are funny though. Like one of my good girlfriends, she went on a date the other night, and I said, oh, show me his like Tinder profile or whatever. Let me have a look at him. I just looked at him, and he had like footy shorts on. I go, oh, he'll be a bloke or a guru guy. And she goes, no, mate, you're such an idiot, blah, blah, blah. She rings me the morning after. She goes, so I went on the date, and when we were having dinner, there was a TV in the corner. There was an ad for Matty Johns.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, oh, I love the Matty Johns show. And my mate goes, yeah, one of my friends actually got on the beers with him. He was like teaching them how to play footy. And he goes, do you know the Guru? She's just like, fuck this.
Got him.
Sack this.
Got
That's
him.
so funny.
Hilarious.
So back to Nico, right? So you get a whisper that Nico's injured. That's correct? That's how
Yeah.
Then you go, spreading that word to the world, to the community.
Yeah. So I put it out there and everyone just calls shit on it. No one's buying it. By this point, I know it's something. I don't know how bad it is, but I know it's something. And I think my words were up to 2 months. I think, Dale, can you have a look? I think he missed the first 4 games, 3 or 4 games or something. And then the game he was meant to come back, we had been doing the bloke country tours, which was the best time of my life, by the way. That was on YouTube. Would have loved it. And I caught up with a bloke in Wagga, I think it was. This is like early hours, many beers deep. And he's like telling me about how he used to have a connection to Cronulla and how he's out for a couple more weeks. So I dug a little bit deeper and once again didn't get no's. And the thing was, and like if you understand Supercoach, because he was playing the Sunday night, the last game, if you brought him in for Supercoach and he didn't play, that screws your entire week because you can't then take him out. Right? Yep. So what I made a big deal of it on Beers and Break Even and said, hey, I'm hearing there's a chance he won't play. I wouldn't be trading him in if I was you guys.
And so this would be week 5.
Yeah, or whatever week he was due to come.
He came back in round 4.
Round 4,
Okay.
yeah. So this is round 4. Anyway, I think it's still the highest Supercoach score of the season. He comes out and puts on an absolute show. Absolutely kills it. Shows no signs of a quad injury whatsoever. And this is where, and you guys will get this, and this is what I'm trying to teach Timmy week by week. He rings me, he goes, oh my God, we're going to get smashed this week. I went, this is the best thing to ever happen to us.
Yeah, exactly.
This content is going to be all time.
Exactly right. It's like when we lose to Queensland. It's just perfect.
When things
regular
go
content.
wrong, it's way better than when things are going.
Mate,
No one wants to.
No one would have
likes
listened to my
closing.
podcast the other day if we win.
Yeah.
If we win because Queensland had a sim in the last 10 minutes.
Exactly right.
No one cares.
We're just stoked.
Back to birdies. I want to see how much you're prepared to share here. How do you develop a birdie?
Yeah, like a relationship with a bird. How do you?
Do you need to wine dine
groom
at
a bird?
69? A birdie?
Not quite. It's not, mate. Of the birdies I have, I might have met 10% of them.
That's even better. It's like Charlie's
Mate,
Angels,
it's
but it's
unreal.
Guru's Birdies.
Yeah.
Guru's birdies.
But it's
Just
also,
tweeting.
I might have only met 10% of them, but like you only really get to know someone when you meet them and whether you trust them or not.
Yeah.
So that's where it can.
But how do you like?
How do you identify a bird?
Well, how do you also like? How do you enter into a relationship with a bird? Where you're like, hey, excuse me, birdie, like, what's going on here?
Most of the birdies come find me.
Oh, really?
Well, because they just like to be involved in footy. They like to help out. They like to whatever. And, if I've got a birdie that helps me out, I might send them a hat or a T-shirt.
Okay, I was going to say, do you...
No, it's a give and take.
You got to feed the
relationship.
birdies.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to feed the birds.
They go
That's
hungry.
right. Well, otherwise they'll fly away.
Yeah. Can't
To
have
someone
them flying
else.
To
away.
someone else. Yeah, who
You
feeds
can't
them?
have that.
But there are a couple of hats and T-shirts that I've sent that I regret sending.
Yeah, okay.
Because of what you got Barnum yarns.
God,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, do you now only send food once the birdie's delivered, or is it like?
Yeah. I have to prove that you're worth.
Yeah, you gotta-
I should actually have like a birdie's hat.
Dude, you
that I
should
send to them.
Dude, that's actually really funny. Guru's bird.
What's your most high profile birdie in terms of like, have you got any C-suite birdies?
Oh God.
Oh shit.
You can wink.
Yeah. There you go. Can we beep out birdies you've got if you got a famous birdie?
No, I'd rather not.
No,
Okay.
that's fair. No, you actually you know what? You should
can't
never
really-
reveal
no,
your
you
birdies.
can't. No, you can't.
No, that's fair. I respect that.
And he doesn't want to risk Tobler leaving it in.
Yeah, exactly. Or D or Dave fucking running his mouth down at the pub.
Yeah, no, but and like there are, like a couple of players that I've formed good relationships with who will tell me little things, and also like that's the other thing because I've formed a relationship with a lot of these, SG Ball or New South Wales Cup guys that are training with all these guys. They'll quite often just tip me off on little things, which is fantastic because they know it all.
Yeah.
They're training opposed to all these.
Some
guys.
emerging birdies.
Yeah,
You like that?
Birdies, it could be anything.
Birdies, it could be anything.
and they could be anything.
So what was the blowback like when you fucked the Nico Hines call?
Oh yeah, copped it.
Just smashed
Oh,
it.
I absolutely copped it. But that's if I'm going to enjoy the Ruben Cotters, I got to wear the Nico Hines.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
but
and
that's your
that's-
biggest
Yeah, I think that's probably my biggest.
So you
shit.
told everyone on the start of round 3 or the start of round 4 before round 4 that he wasn't coming back. He was still injured. Don't bring him in.
Yeah, well, pretty much what I said is I would advise you don't do it. I reckon there's every chance he doesn't come back, which, people being people took as he said he's not going to play.
Yes.
Which is fine. That's kind of what
He
I
basically
said anyway.
did.
Yeah, so that's fair play. But yeah, that was definitely probably wanted the most for that one. But like I've had plenty of shockers.
Yeah.
Christ, I've had some shockers. That World Club Challenge at the start of the year, start of the week, the yarn was that at Penrith that weekend it was going to be 40 degrees.
Oh yeah.
And all that. Like it was going
And
to be a
didn't you?
nightmare.
And what did you say? It was
I gave him a 40-point start. I got to Saturday. It was a monsoon.
Yeah, yeah.
I've gone, oh, mad. Okay.
And
they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost by 1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. How did the great Timmy Williams come to your life? I love Timmy Williams, by the way.
He's the best, mate.
SC playbook.
Yeah, he is the best.
Absolute dribbler as well.
Yeah.
People don't realise how much of a dribbler he is.
Full-blown dribbler. It was nice to have you both on the stream and to properly hang out.
And that's our perfect.
That was the
People-
feedback we got back from that stream. Like the dribblers frothed it, and we would love to do more with both of you.
We want to call it the Rugby League Nerd Out.
Yeah, 100%.
Where it's just the
Thursday
four of
nights.
us nerding
This
out.
is exactly what we did the Saturday night before at the Cax.
Yes, exactly. But so Timmy and you, did you start the show last year?
Like
your beers and break evens together?
In December 2021, I wanted to start. I'd sort of already done a Supercoach show with another guy. Didn't work out. Just too many Western Guamas. So I needed to work out what I was going to do. So I get in contact with Tim, who had been doing his Supercoach playbook stuff for ages now,
Yes.
and had been doing very well with it. And who I just knew from around was not a dickhead, essentially, which is what I was looking for.
Yep.
So I rang Tim, and I'd never spoken to him before, never really had any conversation. And I said, got an idea, can we catch up for a beer? So we went down to the Clubby Hotel, and I just sort of said, look, I've got the studio at Bloke, Kempy's happy for us to use it, and I want to do a Supercoach show, I'll do all the content, I'll do all that stuff, I just need you're the best, I think you're the best Supercoach mind around, I think we could blow it away. And we started off, and it was good. Like it took us a while to get used to each other, as it does. Like obviously, you two have been lifelong mates. Mm-hmm. Me and Tim weren't like that. We'd had one beer when we started our show together. Like our second bloke on camera, was our second beer we'd ever had together, pretty much. But it's just come together so quickly.
Yeah.
So quickly. So we did the first few weeks of that. I think we got to about week 8 of Beers and Break Evens. It was going well, and then Kempy wanted a third person, and we sat there like you guys would have been there for some of these conversations. We went through like a list of so many guys we could try and get for the show. And then he just sort of said, what about your mate from Supercoach? And I went, mate, he'd be unreal. He's got a great footy mind.
Yeah.
He also sees it a little bit differently to how I see it as well. He sees it differently to how you sees it. Tim's an interesting guy because obviously he grew up, his brother's Sam Williams.
Yes.
And his family lives and breathes footy. Absolutely lives and breathes. And he's seen it from the fan perspective and the player's perspective, being Sam's brother. So he's been a really nice addition to the Monday show and our Supercoach show. He's a genius at what he does. Like last year I beat him. I have no idea how. No, I'm so shit at it. At Classic, I'm awful at it.
Really? But what draft different?
Draft I'm very good at, but Classic, I'm not awful, but I'm nowhere near on Tim's level,
Yeah,
which is
right.
like an elite sort of status.
And you beat him.
Beat him last year.
Humble
Had a lot
brag.
of things
Slip
go my
that in there,
way.
humble brag.
Listen.
Tim's a genius. Beat him last year, but a genius.
You take
Well, he's
wins
going
when
to
they
slap
come.
me this year.
Is he?
Yeah, mate, he's going to slap me. Absolutely. And he captained Cleary the other night when he got injured, and he's still going to slap me.
Oh, really?
So, I'm not going to get near him. So, for me, I already know it's going to be 1-1 after 2 years.
Yeah, right.
And then I've just got to rally the troops for next year. I've got to pull another miracle out of my ass to keep with him. So, because it stung him when I beat him last year.
I bet it did.
And people don't talk about it, but it was some of the most unbelievable circumstances. Imagine I'm sitting at the Doncaster Hotel one Saturday off my head and just off a whim go, I'm going to captain Joey Manu. That was the afternoon he put on a show against the Dragons. Right. This is like the highest score of the season. I had him as my captain. So that put me X amount of points ahead. And then a few weeks later, I said to Tim, I was in the lift, and I said to him, I've got an idea. And he goes, I've got an idea. I'm going to make a big move this weekend. My big move was to bring Kalen Ponga into my team and captain him. And Tim goes, I'm going to bring in KP and I'm going to captain him. And I went, okay. And I thought, okay, I'll let you do it. KP got knocked out in the first minute. And it pretty much ended Tim's season.
Fuck. So it's like there's just knife edge close sort of shit. Do you guys have to be like? Are you in like? Do you keep some things close to your chest?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So like you can't tell each other what you.
Oh, we're competitive with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's heaps better than me, but I want to beat him.
Do you have anything riding on it? Glory?
A lot of glory. And like, you know, it's like you sit there and do a show every week. Like we've got a big ass trophy that we keep there and everything.
Oh, nice.
So we just got my name on it at the moment, which irks him.
Yeah.
Like we don't have money riding on it or anything, but like a lot of pride goes into it.
Trophies enough. Trophies better than
yeah.
money, really.
But it's just the pride of having the one up.
Yes.
Which is what means the world to me.
And I mean, I don't know of any other Supercoach shows. Like I know there probably are some, but like you guys are the shit, right? You guys are.
Yeah. Oh, look, and once again, as per a lot of things I've done with Guru, I've been very lucky that I've had Kempy and that studio.
Absolutely.
That's
we
what
should
takes
shout
it.
out Kempy because
without a doubt.
He's been a massive help to all of us.
Yeah, without a doubt. So without that studio and that professional side of things, that's what separates beers and break-evens from the rest.
Also the content.
Yeah, the content, but like it's reading stats and making like there's a lot of really good Supercoach players out there, and there's probably a number of Supercoach players that probably do better than me and Tim if they had the resources.
But how do you but it's how you convey that info as well, right? Like you can convey something you can like tell me Supercoach information and I'll be like, okay, cool. But you can also make me want to listen to it.
And that's where there's a lot of people that tell me every week they don't even play Supercoach, but they listen to Beers and Break-Evens.
Yeah, right.
Me and Tim just have a good flow.
Yeah.
And they enjoy that footy side and how competitive we are and, you know, the banter throughout and whatnot.
Do you have anyone else working for you?
I've obviously got Maddie who does, you know, ones and twos and all that.
Yes.
But then I've got another guy who's been helping me the last few months, Mitch, who's been really helpful.
So, but in the sort of like production side of things or in the like content side of things?
Oh, so he just does the production side of things. I do, me and Tim do all the content.
Yeah. But for Guru? Just like Rugby League Guru? Like is there any...
Oh, no, it's just me.
Just you. And is there any... Do you even need anyone else? Is there like plans to take over the world?
I'm very... I think I do need to expand eventually. How I do that, I don't know. I'd love to sort of get my own studio like this. That's my plan over the next year or so.
Yeah.
To make a move. I've actually been having a look at places the last few weeks.
Sick.
I need to make that move first. And then I'd love to bring other people on, but I don't know, it's weird with Guru. It's like my baby.
Yeah.
But I need to learn how to let go.
Yeah. Well, listen, when you do let go and you bring someone in like we did with Dave, what'll happen is Dave will be on a podcast and tell you that Darren Lockyer retired in 2008. And you, because you're so busy doing a show, you don't even really give any time and thought to it. You just sort of agree with him. And then before you know it, you're getting smashed in the comments from people, and they're going like, you know, you guys are idiots.
So you got to be
careful. Retired in 2011. So you got to be very careful who you bring on and announce this full time on your show. And then a week later they bury you. So
you got to be careful.
He also broke the SEN sign, which isn't in shot right now. Sorry, SEN, if you're just hearing about that. Yeah.
But it's also like...
And the cherry on top was that he told us that American Pie came out in 2001, came out in 1999.
Yeah. Now
that might be small. That might be small to some, but if you're a perfectionist like Tom and I, you know, who never get anything wrong, ever, and have basically, you know, that's our brand. Brand Hello Sport is always right. And
never apologise, always right.
Exactly right. That's Brand Hello Sport, and that's what's got us here today.
Yes, got us to the dance. And listen, we also, you know, Dave has a computer for anyone who's wondering, like, you know, he has a computer, he has access to the internet, which the computer holds the answer to every single question that humans
he uses
have answers
DuckDuckGo.
to, which is a problem. Or he uses another one where you like plant a tree every time you search something. That's great. That's great. Like that's great for the environment. It's not great for us and our image. So
well, it's not great for Brand Hello Sport, which is always right, never apologise.
Yes.
I know this is
relinquish.
Dig shit on Dave hour, but I'm actually a huge fan of him on the podcast. Whenever he chimes in, I love the reaction he gets out of you.
Well, that's what's disappointing.
Yeah, that's
it wouldn't be the same without him.
Yeah, he's got so much potential.
Thanks,
we see greatness in him. Well, we'll edit that bit out that Guru just said. He's got greatness in him, but you know, it's the last thing you want is for you know, who's Latu's biggest hurdle? You know, Latu's got to get out of Latu's way for Latu fine out. D or Dave.
Well, Latu can be whoever Latu wants to be, but it's up to Latu to become
the
ultimate Latu.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? Can Latu be great?
The fully actualized Latu.
Yeah, great Latu.
Yeah.
Immortal Latu.
Yeah. Kid could be anything.
Well, it's up to Latu to become immortal.
But no, look, we like Dave as well.
We do.
When I'm listening to your potty, like if I hear Dave's about to say something, I'll take it in my missus and goes, "Oh, you'll probably want to hear this." This will be great.
I
I don't understand half the shit you say. I don't get it at all.
No.
But I'm heaps into it.
It's just Communist Manifesto stuff. It's just it's not
If you're ever looking to hire someone, let me know. It sounds like I'll be treated better there.
Yeah. Nah, we'll lock you up into one of those Scientology billion-year contracts. And then just,
golden handcuffs.
yeah.
Circling back to Origin, if you don't mind. I've been peppered with this question all weekend. I was out on the piss on Saturday. People just coming up, what do you reckon about New South Wales, Queensland? What is it that makes Queensland win the tight games, which they always seem to? What is it that allows them to just overcome us time and time again? So there's that. There's also, do you think this whole Queensland gets it, Queensland fucking just, they get rugby league more than New South Wales? Do you reckon that's almost like a myth that they're just feeding? And sort of almost wigs us out on game time? Or do you reckon they actually do get it?
Oh, I think there is something in it. I really do. I hate to say it, but I'll tell you what I admire. When we went to Magic Round the other day, that was like nothing. And it was my first ever time at Magic Round.
It's awesome.
Like, the way that Queensland do things is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
How could we could not emulate half of that in Sydney?
Not even close, dude.
Well, it'd be at home, but it shouldn't be a nightmare.
It'd be a nightmare.
The only way you could get close is if you moved it to the SFS and tried to find some way to block off streets there. But there's no rugby league culture around padding.
I don't think it's got anything to do. I don't think the venue's got anything to do with why we can't do it in Sydney.
No, but what I mean more is that like the specific area. So like obviously there's the Queensland like rugby league spirit generally and like their obsession for it. But the Caxton into Suncorp, just two like icons of rugby league generally, the way they block that street off, it's like it is the perfect setting.
They need to start taking the buses back down Caxton Street before Origins. That would have been biblical being on that bus.
But I look at it and I go, like, realistically, if we wanted to, we've got Homebush, which is where we play games. There's 3 pubs across the road. We could have a mad night like that. Yeah, if we want to. I personally don't think. Obviously, Suncorp special and the Caxton special, no doubt about that. But I think it's got more to do. I genuinely think we have less passion, and I don't know if that's just because we've been grounded into the dirt for 8
Passion's
years.
been humped out of us.
Oh mate, it has been. I know in me it hasn't, but I think in the general New South Wales person it has. I had Donnie here last night, who's Queenslander. Mate, he just said, like, when you get on a bus the morning after Origin and we've lost, you can feel it. Mate, win, lose, draw, whatever in New South Wales, the next morning nothing changes.
Could that be because in Queensland it's like a bunch of backcountry hicks who got fuck all to do? Like, you know, whereas here we've got like heaps more going on.
Put your banjos down for one night.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like they're just trying to work out how they're going to eat this apple with 4 teeth. Like we are, you know, we as a state, we've got beaches. They got beaches. We've got the harbour. You know, we've got lifestyle. We've got a shitload more sport to watch and enjoy. Like they don't have much, so like it means a lot more to them. But maybe it still means the same amount to us. But we're just sort of like, you know, you guys are fucking weirdos anyway.
Maybe, but I'm jealous of it.
No, I'm jealous.
That's how I would want to live.
I'm musing simply. You know, I don't know if any of that's true or not.
And all of this kills me to say, by the way. I hate saying this, but like.
But from a player's perspective, right, you could potentially argue that there are pockets of the state that don't care as much as the like-for-like pockets of people in Queensland from a passion perspective. But that's fan-based stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got Freddie Fittler, an absolute great. You've got Joey Johns in there, absolute great. You've got Brandy in there, absolute greats. Working with great players who on paper are fucking throbbers, who've won comps back-to-back in some instances. It doesn't seem to translate into the Origin performances, though. And I don't know what the fuck that is.
And that's what I can't explain. And take game 1, for example. And I said this on the Bloke Pod the other day. It's a New South Wales problem. It's not an individual player problem. We put Nico Hines on at centre. He misses a crucial tackle. And everyone goes, why would Freddie put him at centre? That's lost the game for us, blah, blah, blah. Queensland had Ruben Cotter and Ben Hunt in the centres. Did you hear shit about it? They also had 12 players on the field. Did you hear anything about it?
No.
Like what? I don't understand what it is or how you fix it. And that's what worries me so much. We've got Freddie, we've got Joey. If these guys can't fix it, who's going to? We've already gone through Daly. Who else have we got?
Well, I think Buzz wants Ricky back.
You know what? I literally
the
said to
passion
Tim the other day, do we need a lunatic in there? Do we need a lunatic who's just going to be full of passion? You don't have to coach these guys at the end of the day.
No, you don't.
Do you just need a lunatic?
It's almost funny. It's like the life cycle. It's like, I think we did. Who was before Daly? Was it Bellamy?
Craig Bellamy? Yeah.
But like, you get Laurie, and then it's like Laurie gets the like sort of the fluke one off, and then it's like, let's go this full hippie route with Freddie. Now it's like that no longer works anymore. Like we've become immune to the hippie barefoot bullshit. Now we need to go back to like psychotic Sticky, because Sticky was sacked at some point, wasn't he? Because it wasn't working.
But that's because it was up against the decade of dominance. Don't
that's what
forget
I mean, though,
that,
but like the life
Ricky
cycle now is like,
us,
maybe it's time for a bit more psycho Sticky.
Ricky took us to some game 3-deciders.
Rick Noble.
Remember when Soward went over game 2, 2011?
Or was it
2012?
Did Soward step off his left into Minicello?
Into Minicello,
went
thank
over.
you very much. Off the left.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Not bad. I was going to let it slide.
No, I know my fucking rugby.
We went back and watched that game. That was unbelievable. But Ricky's crying in the box.
Yeah.
Do we need that again?
Do we need genuine Origin tears?
Genuine Origin tears, passion. Maybe we do. Because it's getting a little bit frustrating. We should be looking at winning our 6th series in a row. That's just a fact of life.
Yep.
The second worst Queensland side of all time beat us. Then Munster beat us in a series. Or were they the same series? I don't fucking know. All I know is we've just lost again. It's looking unlikely that we'll win game 2, even though I think we can.
No, I think we can. I think we will.
The chips are down.
And the only thing that gives me hope in game 2 is that we've got a Latrell Mitchell.
Yes.
He's the sort of guy that can just turn the tide.
But also, again, teams will already be out for game 2 and we're hearing this. But I hear like some people talk about Tommy Turbo. Tommy didn't have that good of a game. He didn't do much. He didn't, like the ball never went to him ever.
I found the Turbo arguments
it.
bizarre. I thought it was very evident that New South Wales just used him poorly.
They fucking never went to him. And they went left 90% of their time, it seemed, with their attack. But like Teddy never gave him the ball. He was never like, and there was something you were talking about on your show as well about like the way they used him. When Tommy was killing it, sure, he had that roving role where he could do whatever the fuck he wanted, but he's still the centre, right? And you still can fucking design some plays around getting him early ball and having him flop that big old penis all over the Queensland.
And I think like the argument was that the ball didn't go to the right. The ball went to the right a heap. Just Teddy didn't let go of the ball. It was a very and that's where I think
he forgot the ancient rule. Hands will do it.
Hands will do it.
Early ball, hands will do it.
Hands will do it, Tom. Hands will do it.
And that's why I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that people are like, Teddy played poorly. Teddy didn't play poorly. Teddy just didn't, in my opinion, fit in with the structure of that team. And it's a very easy fix.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people that are hunting down Teddy, I think you could be quite easily proved wrong.
I liked his, we spoke about on the pod yesterday, his post-game interview with Fox League.
Yep.
Where I found him, after the game, the bits I saw in the post-match press conference were a little bit like, he didn't give enough, and I was a bit like, bruh, you just fucked up, and like you played poorly, and it's no knock on him. This was just my immediate sort of reaction, but it was like, I feel like you need to be coming out and going, that was bad, and I was fucking awful. But then the way he spoke in that post-game interview with Braith and the boys on the Super Saturday, I was like, that's a bit more like, he was just like, I've had a lot on my shoulders in terms of like trying to be a leader and trying to do this, and like I've gone away from the things that worked for me, and I'm trying to get back to it. And he did have a good game against the Dogs. You're like, okay.
But the reality of it is that I think that when he's talking in the post-game press conference, he hasn't had a chance to sit down and watch the tape of the game.
And probably think about
it. In his mind, and realistically, Teddy did what he does every weekend. He's a run first. He'll get through a heap of volume of work. Like if you go and have a look at his stats from game 1, 200 runs, 7 tackle breaks, blah, blah. Remember he got held over the line at one point?
Yeah.
If he scores that try, he gets a try and a line break. People have a very different opinion on his game all of a sudden. It changes. And if we win that game and Teddy has 200 metres, 7 tackle breaks, a try and a line break, how good. Teddy was great again.
Origin legend.
Same game, different result.
It's a good point.
Like, I once again, I don't think Teddy fit in with their game plan the other night from what we were watching, but I also think maybe that came down to the game plan. I don't understand how it was so disorganised.
Can I ask a question in regards to our halfback?
Yep.
Former currently, because Nathan is out. How long and how many chances should a halfback have? Obviously, he's won series, but not off his own bat.
And that's the thing that stands out for me, that Nath, and I think that once it clicks, I think he'll be one of the best ever. I genuinely do believe that, and I stand by that.
And I'm cool with that as well. Everyone's saying that.
Yep.
And everyone's like, Joey in the lead up, I think, to the game one was like, oh, there's something in his eye. There's a fucking glint in his eye. Yeah, it's fucking Nath. I was shocked to realise he's 26 now. He's not the pup anymore. He's fucking 26-year-old Nathan Cleary. Like,
yeah. But the way that careers are going now, like he could still have 9 more years of Origin football.
Shit, yeah, absolutely. But what I mean is he's not young. Everyone talks about the halves mature, 26 or 7. Like, you don't... Oh,
he's not a pup.
But like,
he's
you don't
not a pup. Yeah,
you don't have a
100%.
mortgage on the fucking 7 just because you're a great club footballer who's winning back-to-back comps. And like, you need to do it, right? You need to do the damn
And that's I think that's what makes it so difficult for Nath, that everyone's like, he hasn't done it, blah, 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 but he's 26. So, and like, it's a thing. You see halves get to 27, 28. Like, that's what makes it so hard with Nath, that if you want to move in a different direction, are you doing it right on the cusp of all the work you've put in coming through?
Well, let me put it this way. Let's say Nicho Hines goes into 7, wins game 2, wins game 3, kills it again this season. Does he, like, the question.
Nath doesn't come back. You can't drop the fucking series winning half.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
now all of a
I
sudden,
reckon if New South Wales win the next 2 games with Nicho, I would go for Adam Reynolds personally. But either way, it's more interesting if it's Nicho. I still think game 1 next year they would go with Nath. I think they have that much belief in him.
If Renault comes out and let's say Renault or Nico, whoever come out and they put the fucking series on their back, perform the way Nath hasn't in Origin, because Nath's had man of the match games where we beat the shit out of Queensland, where it's like Queensland bad, everyone in New South Wales good, Nath, sort of front foot footy sort of stuff. It would actually frustrate me greatly if they did that.
Would it shock you if New South Wales did that though?
If we had the good win and no, it wouldn't shock me. What would shock me is if they then drop the fucking series winning halfback.
Well, it depends who it is.
Would that shock you if New South Wales did that? That's what I'm saying.
It depends who it is. If it's Nicho Hines, who goes on to have a great season, that's a completely different story to Adam Reynolds, who's on his last legs.
And
not the same
start
thing.
of the next season, how he's going.
The way that I think it will play out, if that happens, I think that whether you pick Nicho or Adam at halfback this year, whichever one, doesn't really matter. I think there's a really good chance Cody Walker will be the 5'8".
This next game?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'd love that. He's never, to me, really been given a shot. Like, as in he's played, but never
he's been given a New South Wales shot.
No, he's been given a New South Wales shot.
Just 2 games, if you can't change the world, we're moving on.
Yes, exactly.
Unless your name's Nate Cleary,
Nathan
Mitchell
Cleary.
Pearce, these sort of guys.
Yeah.
Right? So I think Cleary can come in and I think Walker can come in and do a really good job. And I think that's why I would go Adam Reynolds. I think that going up there, if the game wasn't at Suncorp, I'd probably lean towards Hines, to be honest with you. Going up there to Suncorp, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
Do you think Freddie's that bold?
Oh, fuck. I've got no idea what Freddie...
That's
I'm the biggest Brad
bold
Fittler fan in the
decision.
world, and I've defended him for years, but it's getting hard. It is getting hard to defend.
Yeah.
But once again, if it's not going to be
We'll
Freddie...
put it this way. It's now... What is it? Is it 9 all in games, I think, in his tenure?
Yeah, I think he's sitting smack on 50%. But for me, it's the games that we lose and the fashion we lose them.
Yeah.
That, to be honest with you, the percentages, I don't give a fuck. It's the fact that Queensland get a player sin bin when we're up a player on the field. We managed to concede 2 tries.
Points, yeah. 2
You know what I mean? Like,
2
how does
tries.
that happen?
How does it happen?
It's just, but I said it's equally the most unbelievable thing as it is the most believable thing because it's Queensland.
Yes.
If we did that, that'd be our greatest victory ever.
Yes.
For Queensland, it might be a top 5.
It's unbelievable and believable from Queensland because Queensland do that shit, but it's an amazing win. And it's unbelievable and believable from New South Wales where you go, how the fuck did we lose that? But also, that's how we lose that.
Completely
That's a New
predictable.
South Wales thing.
It's completely...
So, mate, when the sin bin happened, my stomach stank. I just went, oh no, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like, you just knew something was happening. And then Munster got the ball and floated, you just went, oh God.
Dude, he's like, when
There
he
was something
floats,
in the
when he
air of the
starts
game.
floating, dude, you're like, oh no, he's floating.
Well, he
Munster's
dazzles.
floating, he
He
wigs
dazzles.
people out. Everyone just shits
Well,
himself.
how old's Munster, Dave? Was he 28, I think he is?
Dave will come back, he's like 40.
Like, he has got so much more Origin football ahead of him,
Yeah.
and he knows he's the best guy in that arena. He might not be the best player there, but he's the best Origin player
Origin
there.
player.
And that's all that matters.
He's turning 29 this year.
Oh, that's rank. God damn it.
Jesus. Primary life stuff.
They've just got players that seem to fucking gag for Origin footy. Munster gags for it.
The way
Hunt
Reece Walsh was
gags for
talking
it.
after the game and all these
Grant
interviews, like
gags
dream
for it.
come true. I was nervous all day, just a dream come true. This is so. You're just like, no one's talking like that. I felt like crying hearing Reece.
They didn't even pick an absolute gagger in KP who loves it too.
Well, Gus Gould was like, Reece Walsh is your Queensland.
Gagai is like mediocre at Clubland, has been for 5 years, and then goes out into Origin and rips and tears.
Gagai gags.
He gags if he's in maroon.
And they make the exact right decision at the exact right time.
How though, Guru? Tell me how.
Mate,
I need an answer.
That's my question. I don't know how.
I think it's a more profound question to why we're here and where did we come from.
Or why rugby league wings jam in.
These are profound questions, but none more profound than why do Queenslanders just get it? They turn out incredible performances. They don't play bad. Ever. Like, at the start of the game, I don't know what I'm talking about, but people that do are like, geez, Hammer's in trouble. Geez, Hammer's going to get pounded. Geez, Valentine Holmes going to get pounded. We didn't do any pounding. There's no pounding. Zero pounding.
Hammer was never in trouble. That was us grasping at straws. We did the same thing 2 years ago when he went up against Turbo. Oh, he's going to get smacked. He handled Turbo well and truly. And then we looked at so many, and I said it before the game, so many people looked at the Hammer pick and went, he's not going to be able to handle our outside backs. Have you considered he's the fastest bloke on the field? Have you considered the fullback is the absolute best at getting at the outside shoulder of the three defender and creating space for the fastest guy on the field?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes even just the way we look at Origin is so backwards. So backwards.
See, but I can't see that, though.
No, I don't see that.
I don't see that.
I see vibe, and I vibe Hammer's in big, big trouble.
Well, but that's my bias coming through.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think, though, that obviously we may not have the passion of Queensland, but is there passion in how critical we are as a state? I feel like if something goes wrong, we fucking pile on quickly. And maybe to our detriment, because then we end up chopping and changing. We've got this like absolute pool of riches from which to choose, and none of them seem to do
pick
anything.
the wrong thing. Like, no disrespect to Pangai Jr., but like that now in hindsight, you go, that just seems like that was a weird emotional gamble that he was sort of, as Freddie said.
And Freddie came and said it during the week, it's a gamble. Let me ask you this, is it a gamble Queensland would have taken?
No.
If Ruben Cotter and TPJ were coming through the grades, who do you think New South Wales would have had their eye on?
Yeah.
I said during the week, I think it's a classic example, how many Origins would Cam McInnes have played if he was a Queenslander?
Yes, you did say that. And I was like, oh, you know what, dude? A guy with no tooth? Like, that's Queensland City, dude. Like, they love that.
A toothless bloke who goes hard. Goes super hard.
Gets through his work. He's a job doer already.
Well,
he does a job.
Well, look, he's desperate. He's out of work. He's looking to do a job.
Yeah. Seek.com.
And they seem to get that. They seem to identify blokes like that.
Whereas we're a bit more like Flash.
We are, but like you look through the history of the last 20 years, like we left out Gerbo at the start of last year. I'm just using Manly examples to relate to you guys. Left out Chock Watmo.
I appreciate you using that because I wouldn't relate to any other players.
But like leaving out Watmo was just...
Yeah.
That was mind-boggling.
Yeah, it was.
Queensland would have just gone, sweet.
Shout out to Watmo.
God. And it goes back to the 80s. Like we used to, the only guy that could compete with Wally Lewis in the Origin arena was Brett Kenny. And we used to pick him at fucking centre. And they reckon every single time they'd name at centre, Queensland would go, we're home. That was the only guy that could have beaten us. These idiots picked him at his second best position.
Just can't get it out of our own way.
No, we can't.
We can't get out of our own way.
Only Phil really got it.
Yeah, but Phil wants Mitchell Moses at half.
Well, Phil's only lost one series, I think. Didn't he only lose one series?
He's got an incredible record.
He's too old. Oh, not that he is too old. Maybe he's like, I'm too old.
I think respectful. I think Twitter's been the worst thing to ever happen to Phil Gould. I think this current generation doesn't like that is one of the greatest rugby league minds to ever exist.
Yeah,
and he can annoy us in commentary. He can take the piss out of us. He is a genius.
Yeah,
absolute genius.
I also love him on Twitter. I just want that.
I love it too, but for Phil Gould, I'm just like. You should be remembered as a rugby league great.
He does a lot of like old man yells at cloud on Twitter.
He loves a cloud.
Yeah, dude.
Goes after cloud.
And what's this bloody? I don't know how to update my phone. Like, how do I get all my photos? And you're like, what?
A lot of climate change rhetoric as well. If you could have, so you're having dinner and you can invite 3 rugby league people, minds. Who do you have?
Fucking question, Edward.
It's tough. I would probably have. Jack Gibson would be one.
Yep.
Old super coach.
Would you ask to wear his jacket?
Yes. I'm playing for keeps.
Yeah. Jack in his jacket.
Jack in the jacket.
Jack Gibson would definitely be one. So the thing is with like so many like Wayne Bennett, I'd love to have, but what's he going to say to me? He'll give me 3 words.
Well,
Yeah, but he might not.
let's
No, this
assume
is
that they're a little bit
guard down.
lubricated
This
up.
is guard down.
This is guard down, no media. You're promised.
Wayne's
You've signed
had
an.
2 Coca-Colas and he's ready to let.
Oh,
loose.
yeah,
You've
he
signed an
doesn't drink.
NDA. You've signed an NDA, and
Everyone's
he's feeling
comfortable.
calm and comfortable.
Wayne would be one. If I could get Unchained Wayne,
Yeah,
I'm
Unchained
taking that.
Wayne.
Would be great. To be honest with you, I would have said Matty Johns, but after I spent some time with him the other day, it's like
You've already run shape.
I've sort of I
You've done
wonder.
that now. You've ticked that box. You scratched that itch.
But I still like Matty had obviously had a pretty big day that day. I would love to sit down with Matty. You know what I would actually love to sit down with, and I heard him talking about it on your podcast, and I've heard Matty talk about it for years. The guy that taught him and Joey everything, Alan Bell.
Yeah.
I think he would be so interesting. So interesting.
You
And,
just
and Matty talks about him occasionally here and there.
yeah.
And every time he does, Matty never gives any more details than the first time he ever spoke about Alan Bell.
Yeah.
And I think he
right.
does it on purpose.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
When he
'cause
started
doesn't say
when he
anything.
started talking about it on your pod, I was listening to you guys, and I was going, Tom and Eddie, you motherfuckers, ask more questions.
Yeah.
Ask more questions. Do not let this go.
Yeah.
And then he moved on to something else, and I was like, fuck, that's a stinger.
Because no one really like goes into it with him, you mean? Like with
Because no one really knows who he is, right?
Exactly
no.
right.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so we've got Jack Gibson, Wayne Bennett, and Alan Bell.
yeah, I'd seriously consider having that Alan Bell there because I
Now
would
it's
love
going to be at your house. So like, is there a Rugby League Guru meal of choice that you're providing these guys?
Well, my origin meal since I was 14 has been a bourbon and a crust pizza. And I'm pretty damn consistent with that. So this year when Jim Beam was actually on as a sponsor, my mates freaked out.
That's so.
They're
good.
like, this is the best thing
This
ever.
is perfect.
This is the peak.
What do you
of
get from Crust?
it. Peri Peri.
Yeah. Good, just
yeah,
good.
that's
no
good,
brainer.
honest. Yeah.
Good, honest rugby league food.
Yeah. My best mate, I always get the Peri Peri and he always gets something fucking weird with pear or some shit on it. I'm just like, just stick to what.
Just relax.
Just
Yeah. Let's just keep
proven
it
winner.
simple here.
Who do you respect? Who do you respect most as a rugby league analyst at the moment in the current game?
Matty,
Matty, yeah.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Who's your all-time favorite player?
Freddie.
Okay. You were a Roosters man growing up, weren't you?
Well, I knew you were going to go down
I
this
was
avenue.
gonna-
I was
I was
waiting for it to
gonna
come.
try and find my way to-
Saw this
Oh,
trap coming from my
Yeah,
house.
I
when
left it
this
late. I
morning.
left it late.
Pretty funny story actually. My old man, when the SFS was built, 1988, they offered, they were obviously selling memberships for the stadium, right? I think the membership back then was like $2,000 something, which was ridiculous. Unbelievable money to go and watch football. My old man brought a pass for it, right? And I'm sure at the time all of his mates were just like, what are you doing? That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Turns out the day you sign up, you pay the same rate forever. So to this day, we're paying an SFS membership on 1988 rates.
Oh, that's
Jeez, that's
hectic.
good.
So my dad was eyes up. He
Yeah,
was the
big
king.
time eyes up.
Big time. Yeah.
There you go.
I should actually, he's been the head greenskeeper at Moore Park for 30 years.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's funny, like obviously my younger brother Josh, his son obviously, loves you guys. Absolutely loves you. And my dad, you know, with your parents, like the thing that you're into as kids, they just always think it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's always, he calls you guys the hello guys or something. Like that. Josh listens to the bloody hello guys. And I remember talking to him a few months ago and I said, oh, you know who Tom's dad is, right? He goes, who's Tom's dad? Billy Birmingham. He went, what?
Yeah, there
And
you go.
it just clicked. 'Cause that was his thing.
Yeah,
straight away.
exactly, there's
All of a
his
sudden, just a new appreciation.
Yeah,
all of a
yeah.
sudden, which was
My
wild.
old man was a greenskeeper as well.
Was he?
Where was the fucking
Northbridge.
Northbridge, yeah, right.
He just, as he says it, he just basically smoked joints and rode around in a tractor all day. I don't know how much greenskeeping he did.
Oh, but he likes to talk a bit of shop though. He likes to talk. a bit
Yeah,
of
no,
shop.
he likes to talk. He likes to talk grass.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk some grass.
Well, he wasn't happy with the state of the greens.
No, he wasn't.
No, my old man loves a green chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, they should have fucking told us. They got a fucking earache.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, you can't bloody putt and bloody thing. It's the whole.
We didn't play full pass, did we, Seb? We didn't play full.
Oh Jesus.
So some of those yarns on your podcast of your dad when you were playing golf are some of my.
Oh mate, that was a fun day.
A
That
pure
one.
day.
Yeah, it was.
Still one of my favourite memories all time.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely one of the great moments with Bill, where he's always, gets in a fucking punch on with a 20-year-old who deserved it. Don't worry, Dad was vindicated, but Eddie walked away from that going, all right, I see where Tom sort of gets it.
Sorry, but yeah, that's where I was at. So Dad had the membership for the SFS. So I grew up going to every single game of the SFS every single game. So it was always the Roosters games and the Souths games.
Right.
Souths sucked beyond belief, though, obviously, during the early 2000s.
Yep.
So that was always a really tough pill to swallow. But the Roosters were always fantastic, and Freddie was always the main guy. And you'll love this story. So I was a Brad Fittler fan, right? So I cheered on Freddie. And as he came to the back end of his career, retired the 2004 grand final, there'd been a guy in the reserve. Because even back then, I'd watch the reserve grade team. I'd watch the under-20s. I'd watch it all on the day, right?
Yep.
And there was a guy in the reserve grade team who I really liked. He was a gun player, doing very well. He was my first could be anything.
Okay.
Right? I loved him. And this story will all link in. So you two went to Scott's, yeah?
Yeah.
So I went to Waverley, so just around the corner. So all Rooster fans there, right? All passionate Rooster fans. And Freddie retired, and then this guy that I really liked came into the Rooster side. About 3 or 4 years later, he moved to another club, right? It's Jamie Soward.
Oh.
Right? So I had, all my Supercoach names were Sweet and Soured, and I'd carry on a treat. Actually, I'll tell you a cracker. You'll love this. You know when you're at the pub and you're in like the tab area and there's the trackside? Like
Yes. The dribbliest form of gambling of all time.
the best, right? What year would this have been? This might have been 2014, 2015. I'm sitting at home, open my phone, and I don't know if I was following it or whatever, but I saw a thing from Trackside pop up. And like, I'm a fiend for at 3 a.m. getting on the 6 or whatever on Trackside, just see how we go. And this thing pops up and it's like, it's a competition run by Trackside where you can win a New South Wales Blues jersey. You have to come up with new names for the dogs that are on there. It's like it needs to be a rugby league player, and the theme needs to be like I think it was fruits and vegetables. So like come up with like a name that includes anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I came up with like soured grapes. Anyway, I won it, right? So I get this random call from Trackside. They're like, "Hey, soured grapes won the competition. Blah blah blah. Soured grapes is going to run on Trackside this Saturday at 7:15. So I get all my mates. I'm like, hey, we're going to the pub. We're down at Churchill's and sitting there, and I think they run every 2 minutes. So the 7:13 race goes, and it's Trackside. So you've only got 90 seconds to put your bet on, right? So I'm sitting there with hundreds of dollars in cash, waiting for my fucking race to come on, right? And Soured Grapes comes on. I think he was the 9 in the first race, so he's at like 18-1 or something like that. So fucking feed it, runs like a busted. But we're like, it was good. That was good fun.
Yeah. Responsible, of course.
Next race comes up, and Soured Grapes is there again, and I've gone, what's going on here? And what had happened is they told me it would be running between 7:15 and 7:30. So I thought it'd be running in one of those races. Turns out it was running in all of those races. Right? And turns out I thought I won. It turns out I was one of 12 winners because the other 12 names were also punny names of rugby league.
Okay.
So I can't remember what the other ones were. But anyway, so it loses the first race, and then it comes up in the next race, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't afford to do this for the next 8 races, but I'm going to have to. I ran to the ATM because I was like, this is once in a lifetime. I can't miss out on winning this thing. I run to the ATM, I get my money out. By the time I get back to the machine, race 2 has already started, so I've missed that because I only had the 90-second window.
Yeah.
It doesn't win that. Race 3 comes up. I'll never forget, it was the number 2, so it was wearing black and white stripes, white dog, loaded up on it. Soured Grapes won.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All my mates just erupted.
Soured
Just
Grapes.
about broke even. I went so heavy on the first one, and it came up with absolute duck eggs.
That's funny.
Soured grapes on Trackside. That is so
the fact that he
dribbly.
was your first could be anything.
Yeah. I've spoken to him about it. Yeah, I think I enjoy it more than he does.
Yeah,
I care
yeah,
about
sure.
it more than he does. He also didn't give a shit about the Trackside thing. Which I
No,
absolutely
look,
love.
I mean, maybe we'll,
But I still like whenever I'm at the pub and I'm having dinner or anything, I always just keep an eye to see if Soured Grapes.
Soured
and I
Grapes
will
has made a
flip a
return.
table to bet on that thing. I need to be there for that.
Is it still running?
I've never seen it run since, but as I
Surely
said,
not.
if I do, I'm going to cause a riot.
That's so funny. The one thing I wanted to ask before you go was back to like just basically how much rugby league you pound. What's the most amount of rugby league games you've watched in like a block?
Like a weekend?
Yeah.
There would be weekends where I would watch, 8 games of
There's
NRL?
8, yeah.
8 games of NRL. There would be weekends where on the Saturday I'll watch the New South Wales Cup game before that. And that morning I would have watched like my brother play Mats or SG Ball. If he's playing Mats, I would have watched the SG Ball. If he's playing SG Ball, I would have watched the Mats. So like there can be a Saturday where I go Harold Mats, SG Ball, New South Wales Cup, 3 games of footy. So that's 6 games of footy on a Saturday I could consume.
That's a big day.
That's a huge
Oh,
day.
it's a lot of footy.
But then, like, as well, aren't you rewatching some games? Like,
Yeah, not all of them. If it's a big game, like an important one,
Then you're
to be
right.
honest, with you, there's not too many club matches that I'll rewatch the
Okay,
entire
good.
thing.
Yeah,
Realistically,
not working that hard.
no way. No.
Could be working harder.
Yeah,
Could be working harder, without a doubt. Yeah, but yeah, there would be weekends where, like, I think that weekend was a trial weekend. There might have been an All Stars game,
Yeah.
and so I think I might have pushed. Plus, my brother was playing Harold Matson S2 ball, so yeah, there's about 11. But as you said before, my brother he's coming through the Rooster system at the moment.
Is he good? It could be anything.
He's got the ability.
Does he ask you what you think? Like, do you,
No, fuck no.
No.
He's
You
too
don't,
smart
you don't
for
show
that.
him. You don't show him the bloody formula, mate. The
Yeah,
equation.
yeah,
You go,
yeah.
listen, you're missing a little bit of this. You sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that.
I've sat down with him like when he plays, and I've got some tapes of when he's playing and give him my thoughts on it. But for like, it's the same as like if your dad tries to sit down and tell you something, you're just like,
Yeah, fuck off, man.
get lost.
Yeah,
Get lost.
Are you still reffing, or coaching?
Nah, sort of once Guru went full time, I had to, because that was like, if you want to include that in games I used to watch, I used to then coach a game on a Sunday as well.
Oh shit! There you go.
Which was hectic. Like it's too full on, and I think I cared more about it than they did, which was completely fair. So I had to sort of palm that off.
Did you win a comp?
Yeah, so I got my little cousin's team when they were like under 16s. It was like him. He's a pretty handy footballer, but then all the others, like, they had hardly played footy. Like it was bad when we started. It was like a movie. We were awful, like shocking. Like they couldn't pass a ball to each other, nothing. Anyway, as the season went on, we got better and better, and we're in a really low division down in Cronulla or something. They managed to win that comp, so that was exciting.
Hectic.
That was great. Won it at Leichhardt Oval. We had a really big boy, Cam, who was a legend of a kid, real tough, and he was sort of our entire team. Anyway, I think just before halftime, he dislocated his shoulder. And all the boys were just sort of like, oh, shit. We're in some curry. He's our Tommy Turbo.
Our man.
And yeah, they managed to hold on in that grand final at Leichhardt Oval.
Oh,
so.
my God. Famous
Nice.
scenes.
Yeah, what was your halftime speech like? Did you have something prepared, or was it off the cuff? You had to
No, it was me and my uncle that was coaching that, and it was more so his team. I was sort of just helping out here and there, but yeah, I'm pretty calm and collected. He's not so much. So
Yeah, right. Nice.
you could probably hear him from home if you're listening carefully enough. So
Love that.
but yeah, I absolutely love coaching. I really do, and I would have loved to have had an opportunity to coach guys that are like 100% serious about playing footy. I would have loved that, but once again, I wouldn't change what I'm doing for the world.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been great to yarn. We're obviously big fans of your work. It's been nice to get to know you in a more personal sense as well, outside of the fast-paced world of sports content. But yeah, mate, appreciate it. Rugby League Guru on Instagram,
TikTok, Facebook, find me everywhere.
all that jazz.
Love it. Good on you,
Beautiful.
mate.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, bro.
Could you two just not talk anymore?